introduce Grace Quansah, who is the director of a writing, acting and publishing project for youngsters. And Grace is going to talk about empowering young voices to explore heritage.
Akwaba! Akwaba! I say ago, you say amen. If I say ago twice, you say amen twice. If I say ago quite, you say amen quite. Ago, ago, ago! Amen, amen, amen! Ago, ago, ago! Amen, amen, amen! Ago, ago, ago! Amen, amen, amen! Ago! Amen! Ago! Amen! Ahead! Ahead! Did anybody say ago? Be honest. Be honest. Come on, I know a few of you did. I did that for a reason, to wake you up. I'm doing what storytellers do best, especially if you're from Ghana, and not just Ghana. I don't want to diss my African brothers and sisters. But basically, we're steeped in the oral tradition. And I'm going to share with you today, very differently, as you can see, I'm a creative person. No disrespect to you, we're all very creative. Creativity is everywhere. We all exude creativity. But I use creativity in everything that I do. It's a struggle to put together this paper because I didn't know when to stop. You know, when you said 15 minutes, I already began to separate some papers. So I say to you this, that my name is Grace Quansah. That's the name my father, my late father, Solomon Andrew Quansah, gave me. It was his mother's name. However, my grandmother on my mother's side, who's also passed away, she was called Sabina Mensah. She only ever called me Akuba. And Akuba means a girl born on Wednesday. And Wednesday-born girls from the Inzma-speaking group of the Akan. Akan is a big group in Ghana. There are 40 of us, separate groups, the biggest group in Ghana. It means a girl who is mischievous, who's daring, and who's adventurous. And I share with a particular folk hero in Ghana, Kwaku Nancy. So he's the same as me. So you can imagine the stories I tell are very daring, I can be very mischievous, and Nancy can come into a lot of the work that I do. So what do? In a nutshell, I work at the British Museum. I've been there since 2005 as one of their facilitators, spoken word artist researchers. I work within the schools department. I also run an organisation which I set up in 2008, I'll tell you more about that later, called WAPPY, Writing, Acting, Publishing, Project Finances. Basically, I love empowering young people, not just young people, anybody, to express themselves. With young people, it's reading, writing, to become authors, to own what they write, and it can be done traditionally on paper. They can speak their text, and I can write it down. You know, children come to us with all kinds of abilities. I have two youngsters, one son, I've got 4 children, one son has got dyslexia, the other one is Asperger's. They're both published. You know, so there's no limits to creativity, whoever you are, whatever skin colour you are. And I want people to embrace their heritage. So WAPPY does that in different ways. So I work with schools, but sometimes, and I go into schools as a freelancer, but sometimes you have to bring the people to you, because I get frustrated with the erosion of creativity in schools. So that's how WAPPY came about. So I've got these notes, but I'm talking actually, you know, around them. So what is this thing we call heritage? Oxford Dictionary says it defines it as property that is or may be inherited. And inheritance valued things such as historic buildings that have been passed down from previous generations or related to things of historic and cultural value that are worthy of preservation. But heritage presents a common definition to me. By the way, hi Martin, we worked together at the British Museum. I wanted to say hi before, yeah? We'll talk later. So, Quansah says that far from being a fixed or objectively defined phenomenon, which is reflected in the list of objects under protection, the term is a socio-cultural construct, and I get that. So, what does this other person say? Quansah, he goes on to say rather that cultural heritage is everything that is worthy of preserving in culture, and that one wants to leave to subsequent generations. Also, I like Lorenthal's point. He says that heritage is hard to define. A lot of people conflate it with history. They say they're two different things. But at the same time, I find it hard to separate within the work that I do. So he points out that heritage is not history at all. It is not an inquiry into the past, but a celebration of it. So therefore, just for the sake of expediency, I'm just going to say heritage is a celebration of all things that makes us who we are. I like that. I borrowed it from somebody else, but I quite like it. So then, in 2007, this was the year of marking the abolition of the Slave Trade Act. The British Museum, like many institutions around the country, around the world, even when I went to Ghana and performed at Cape Coast Castle, that was amazing, they went in the arena. It took me back home to perform in front of my people about my ancestors who were enslaved in the arena castle. So there were all these commemorations everywhere, and I was invited to do some work towards these program events, which started on the 22nd of March, which was the actual day of the anniversary, right down to, I believe, where are we now? It would have been 13th of March the following year. So what did I decide to do? I decided that I knew about Phyllis Wheatley through work I used to do as an associate lecturer with the university, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to stand in front of this in the African Gallery, and I'm going to present Phyllis Wheatley's life. Why? Because for me, it was about telling her story as a young African girl who was wrenched from her parents' home in Senegambia, former now Senegal and Gambia, to Boston, Massachusetts, and she became this amazing poet. She was the first black woman to be published here in America. Not a lot of people knew about Phyllis. I certainly didn't know about her before working with the OU. So, it entailed a lot of researching, and I had to do a story performing piece, poetry as well, using my African Ghanaian style, okay? With emphasizing the timeline of events in front of the baby bronzes. So what was the impact of what I did? When I worked with Berkeley School, they came and watched me perform in front of Ramoud Hamez La Bouche de Roy. It was a big installation done by this Benin artist, and I had to perform in front there. And then I also had family audiences come and watch me perform, so it was a bit of both. So I think what I need to do is just to show you some of the power. Good. So this is me. Here's Phyllis Wheatley. You see how the youngsters are looking at me? Just transfixed like this. And people say, how did you do it? How could you pen drop? How did you get these youngsters to be so engaged? Well, it says here, first through initial call and response. That's why I thought, let me just wake you up. Let me just do it so you know what I do. To establish my audience were attentive and ready for the narrative. Ground rules were set that youngsters were introduced to a communal nature of storytelling from the outset. As I exemplified at the outset, borrowing a call and response words, I go and I made from the tree speaking group if they can, as shows respect to other members of the classroom student group and offers an example of cultural borrowings that give honour to culture of the African diaspora in the development of the multicultural classroom. So this is why I wanted to use it. Also, something which is ingrained in me, also by giving my participants percussion. So I often have objects around me, cultural artifacts from my country, things that have been given to me by my parents or I picked up on my travels to Ghana. Certainly a lot of instruments, cowbell, other shakers, and they start shaking. You know, Phyllis was on the boat. And she, when she got taken away from her parent, she was screaming. So I asked them all to start shaking these instruments and screaming, to interact. So they are living the experience of what, and I bring people to tears, I bring young people to tears. So I'm saying, basically, that it's important to have sound effects and involve your young people. That helps them engage, okay? So Chris Spring, who's a curator at the British Museum, he said this of my performance. I vividly remember one occasion in African Galleries when Grace had been talking in front of Evening Prize. At the end of the workshop, a visiting academic recounted to me how, for a few moments, every work of art in the gallery was suddenly illuminated and came alive through the passion of Grace's words. In other words, the artifacts, objects, and display in the African gallery, through my storytelling, were given several layers of meaning that helped my audience to have emotional and spiritual connections with Phyllis' tragic life. So let's move on then. I'm going to show you Roots to the Fruits. Now, this is through WAPPY, this organisation that I set up with the support of funding from the Ealing Council and a lot of amazing people, volunteers, including my husband. He started off as a colleague working with me on WAPPY, and then we fell in love after so many years and we got married. So that's wonderful too, that WAPPY brought me a wonderful. Let me read this. This young boy, as you can see on the left here, wrote this poem, and I'm going to play something else. Mr. Willis Walkie, the poem's self-explanatory. Oh gosh, typical, isn't it? You get a phone call when you're trying to do something. A simple yet complicated life. When Mr. Walkie was wheelchair bound, he was free in his mind, even though now he has gone, he has left a legacy behind from being a pioneer of black supplementary education in Britain to the powerful literary works he has written. He will remain prominent in history as well as in our hearts. He has helped to put a once broken Britain piece by piece, part by part. The vast bank of knowledge he has to give has taught me one thing: live life simply so others can simply live. He's now doing medicine and he only went to acting part, but he was 15 when he wrote this. Now I want to show you, the reason why I say this, because it's really important that we know that young people, we give them the tools and they can produce. I hope this is going to work, because she wrote this poem called Young, Black and British, but it engages with her heritage and her history, and I'm praying that it's going to play. It is. Now how do I play up the volume? Do I have to...
See the red thing?
Yes, this one here, good.
10, when
Let's go back to
it was up. I remember working since its inception in 2008. It's our 5-year anniversary, and I wrote this in 2010 when it was at a point where everybody was trying to tell me who I was, and not necessarily in the nicest way. So I picked up a pen and I thought to myself, I'm going to redefine myself the only way I know how, by writing it on a piece of paper. I really hope you enjoy this story. Young, black, British. Me? Well, I'm young. Young like the lambs in spring. Supple like Josephine Baker. Smart like Benjamin Banneker. But old enough to know better, apparently. And I'm black. Ugandan and Jamaican. Forget the Bambi freckles and the red skin. Look at the hair. I'm black. Actually, everybody has their own description, but I won't go into all the different shades. So, based on the sacrifices my ancestors made, I'm black. Problem? And by Jove, I'm British. Born here, stayed here, not going anywhere. Love the rain, the tube, the unsociable people. I left. The rush and the bustle of it all. Because although my grandma taught me how to cuss, I'll duck that racist bullets without fuss. And do you know why? Because even though you can tell me I don't know my culture, you know when I'm kusema Kiswahili, can you? And my oak tree is planted firmly in British soil, so God help Nick Griffin who tries to uproot me. So I'm weaving through the traffic, ducking the bullets, and carving out a path for me. Yeah, me. Straight A achieving, Acton library dwelling, Game of Thrones watching, X-Men fangirl, Star Trek nerd freak. Live long and prosper. Shunned by some brothers and sisters of all colours, but still standing strong. Wearing glasses and getting my head K-Rose because I ain't wearing no poodle on my head. Rocking out to Nirvana on my tiny acoustic guitar. Listening to Billie Holiday and downloading bubblegum pop. Inspired by Martin Luther King and reading manga, wearing a hoodie but not mugging anyone. Shock. So I guess I'm mixed in everything but race. But in this crazy London city, I found my place. Now look at me, brazen it out. Look at my face. This is young, black, and British. And I'm free.
There you go. In WAPPY, whether they are African descended or not, they have embraced heritage, and that for me is really important. And you know, she is not unique. They are diverse in their different ways. I'd like to end by talking about Roots to the Fruits. We actually came to Black Cultural Archives. Your predecessor, Anne-Marie, was there. I mean, this is going a few years ago, 2000. Basically, as part of a lottery-funded project, intergeneration project, which the lottery pension gave us £49,000. So you've got the Black History, West Culture and West London group. Then you've got WAPPY, then you've got Acton 24. You had a lot of different groups came together to put this project, which was going to interview 10 elders from Ealing. They came from different parts of the Caribbean, different parts of Africa. And my role with the Black Culture Archives and a colleague called Sharon Waters, the directors, Cheryl Burke and many others, were to prepare these young people. So I trained them to be conversant and to be skilled in interviewing using this oral history technique, which we were able to get some support from coming to Black Culture Archives. And the end result, I mean, it was fantastic because I'll just read a little bit of what you know what I'm going to do? Let you have a look in the words of this person who got the most out of it. These are some of the youngsters. In fact, this was a picture for Ealing Gazette, Pride in Our People. So this is F.L. Brown. She's set up Donna, which is Dominica Association Nationals Overseas. And then this is it. This will sum up. Over the course of the last year, I've found the Roots of the Fruit project to be a valuable experience. It's greatly enhanced my cultural awareness, whilst at the same time it's taught me important skills such as interview techniques. I found it very interesting to get to know the different elders involved in the project. My particular elder, Carl Gabriel, by the way, who knows Carl Gabriel? He makes these huge carnival installations, very well known for as a sculptor. He basically, he had a career as a famous carnival sculptor who had his work displayed at several prominent locations around the UK. I was intrigued to learn about the intricate procedures he used in order to create a sculpture, and also hear about the numerous projects in which he had been involved. Some elders revealed that their experiences in the UK were not entirely possible and touched on issues such as waste and pressures. This demonstrated a contrast between attitudes then and attitudes now. I also found that elders all shared a distinct appreciation for simple things that the youth of today often take for granted. To sum up, the project has definitely made me look at things in a different way. I am very grateful for being able to take part in this course, and hope WAPPY will take part in this project again. Basically, give young people the tools, give them the forum, let them use their own words in order to express. You're just there to facilitate, and they will tell you how to take that particular journey. I could say a lot more. I wanted to just give you some working examples. I hope I've said enough.
Thank you.